Welcome to Go Tell Mom. I'm Dianna Kelly. My co-host is Sheri Waltz, and we're moms and educators who enjoy guiding young lives, not just those of our own kids and our own fur babies. We're not psychologists or doctors, but we do know how to dig up advice from those who are, and that's what we'll share with you. If you have something to share with us, remarks, questions, tales of your own adventures in parenting, please leave us a comment on our website or our Facebook page. Parenthood can be a challenge, even with the things you can control. But what happens when your kid gets hit with a trauma no one could anticipate? I remember moving to a new school system when I was in elementary school, and it rained for 3 days in my new home. And I cried for 3 days. I had a hard time making friends, and I'd just lost all the friendships I'd managed to make for as far back as I could remember. Mom and Dad tried to mitigate the pain by letting me go camping at Cape Cod with pals from my soon-to-be former neighborhood. Mom encouraged me to write to my friends. She also encouraged me to write to my grandmothers, knowing that I loved reading and made up lots of stories in my head, so writing was kind of a natural. But it wasn't an easy experience, even with her suggestions. I wound up in a new school with a teacher who was stuck with a 31st student in a class meant for only 30. It was an accelerated track, and I guess I tested into it. I spent the year being tweaked by my teacher for my shortcomings in front of my classmates, and that led to classmates thinking it was open season. Same story for my brother when she had him in class. By the time my sister landed in her class and got the same treatment, Mom decided enough was enough and had a chat with the principal. The CDC says difficult experiences happen to many children, and supportive adults make a tremendous difference in how they recuperate. Families who create safe, stable, and nurturing relationships give kids a consistent family life where they feel safe, taken care of, and supported. My mom made a point of having milk and cookies after school, coffee when I was older, and conversations about what happened during the day. HealthyChildren.org points to how kids develop resilience to rise above difficult circumstances while moving forward with optimism and confidence. They encourage parents to spark moments of connection. And yes, they point to reading, only in their case it's shared book reading, which my mom did with all of us when we were youngsters. They also suggest tagging your pediatrician for help. Pediatricians are trained not only to monitor your kid's physical growth, but also their social-emotional health. The doctors can help you build your team and support system, whether your child is relatively healthy, has ongoing developmental or behavioral concerns, or your family is going through hard times. They also want to know how you're doing, not just how your kid's doing. You're part of the support team, too. When you as a parent share what's going on within your family, it helps pediatricians understand why the child may have adjustment problems. Fred Rogers famously said, "Look for the helpers. How can we be the helper for a child who's having the worst week of their life?" Early Learning Children's Academy points out that we as parents play a key role in teaching our kids how to handle difficult days. It starts out with listening, like my mom's after-school chats. The channel was always open for good news or bad. Allow your kid to spell out what's wrong without interrupting or putting your spin on the situation. Give them some compassion when they're done. And a hug would not go amiss. None of us wants to imagine a child we love facing heartbreak, illness, bullying, loss, or disappointment. Yet every family eventually discovers that we cannot protect our children from every storm. What we can do is help them find hope, resilience, and the people who will walk beside them. Today, Sheri Waltz and I are talking about what happens when bad things happen to good kids, and how love, faith, and community can all make a difference. So, Sheri, have you come across a situation with your kids where it was like a bomb dropping on them? That, it's like, this is a good kid. Why is this happening to this child?
Oh, of course. I mean, bad things happen all the time.
Yeah.
To everybody. Disappointments.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things, but certainly. But I think my response is changing. I can't say it's changed, but I'm hoping that it's going to be changing as my kids are entering another season of their life and I'm entering another season of parenting. Mm-hmm. But I certainly remember when they were kids, I would, swoop in and try to solve it, whatever that looked like.
Do you think that's always a good thing, though? Because I've tried to do that, too.
No, it's terrible now.
Yeah.
It's terrible now as an adult with having adult children. It is like, I don't know.
I still have that tendency to swoop, and I shouldn't.
I know, and I haven't built those skills to be able to sit back and to say, what do you need from me? Or are you looking for advice? Or are you wanting to vent? I still swoop. I'm still coming in to solve it. Because, I mean, that's my personality. That's my personality at work. I'm a problem solver and I'm a doer.
Yeah.
And so I don't enjoy it when my kids want to vent to me.
I don't either.
Because I'm like, let's do it. Let's make a game plan. What are you doing first?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
exactly.
And they're like, holy smokes.
No,
Relax, lady.
I just want you to be the wailing wall right now. And it's like, okay, fine. That's part of my parenting job, I guess.
I struggle with it. I really do. So I feel like it was much easier when they were kids, but I also think the problems that they faced, at least for my children, were relatively benign. There wasn't anything that was, they were disappointments. There was a lot of hurt feelings, not getting invited to a party or having a fight or breaking up with their first boyfriend, those types of disappointments. They weren't anything major. And now they're definitely harder. I mean, they're just, and of course, I feel like they have higher stakes.
And that's it too. You're looking at it, the older they get, the more they move along with their life. There's less time to be able to do a reset.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing that, you look at that and you're like, okay, we can fix this with, but you just turned 30. And there's that. And I'm looking at that like with my son, and he's still kind of not sure what he's doing with his life. He hasn't finished school yet, and he's not sure when he's going to get back to school. And there's all of that. And then there's my daughter, whose car broke down 2 months after she bought it.
Oh.
Yeah. And I mean, we're talking engine fail completely.
Oh my gosh.
Now, her timing, on the other hand, was good because I had just bought a new car and I was going to trade in my old car, which wasn't in the best shape. I had it since 2013, but it ran. It runs. And so I did a few things it cost less for the car that I bought than I thought it was going to. So I took that extra money and put that toward fixing the car I had so that she would have reliable transportation. And at first she was like, oh, no. And then she realized that the plugging of the AC lines made my car have air conditioning again.
Oh.
Yeah. So and she grinned at me when we got together and said, nope, my car has AC now. And I said, oh, very good. She's like, it would help, Mom, if you had turned off the heat. And I'm like, okay, well, there's that. But I do want to swoop in. I do want to solve the problem. It's not like I could say, all right, you've been saving up for this. And it's like, no, Mommy's got to fix it. And I have to train myself not to do that all the time.
I know, and it's so hard because I do think that a lot of my own personal growth was through adversity, and it was through things not working and being able to rely solely on myself or my husband, and try to figure out a way to solve it. I'm not saying there weren't people that helped us along the way. There were definitely times where we had to reach out, but I would say for the most part, we solved it internally. Like we figured out, okay, well, what are we going to do? How do we do this? What does that look like? And I think that built a really strong relationship with my husband and I. And I don't want to take that away from my children's ability to have that. But at the same time, I want their life to be easier.
Right.
But I do. I think that.
But going through tough times is an exercise in resilience, really.
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing in so many ways because then it prepares you to mitigate something that could be a huge thing. And it's like, well, I've gone through this before.
Right.
And I've done this before. So I can get through this.
Yeah. And when I look at my kids now, they don't have resilience. They get side railed by the smallest of complications, and they struggle to stay focused. They get overwhelmed, and I do know it is a direct result of my personality style when we raised them. Like about swooping in, about solving, about getting rid of every obstacle so they could have a smooth.
Okay, but you've advised students. I've advised students. Haven't you found that there are a lot of those kids that are going through that? Do you think it's just the generation?
I don't know.
I mean, I hate sounding like a fuddy-duddy and saying, oh, these kids these days. It's like, no. I mean, is it something culturally that we're seeing where everybody's expected to be perfect, so when something isn't perfect,
right,
they fall apart?
Well, I'd love to blame it on social media. I mean, but I'm not saying that it doesn't have any bearing on it, but I don't know if it's all of it. But I think it's probably a combination of a lot of things. But I think the hard part with social media is that you see people's lives, and of course they typically are showing good parts of their lives. And so when you see that, it makes you kind of feel like, oh, well, it's everybody else has their act together. Everybody else knows what they're doing. Everybody else already owns a home. Everybody else is already doing this. And I think it creates just a false sense of where they should be in their lives. Versus I feel like, certainly when we were growing up, we didn't have anything like that to compare to. And although, of course, you had TV, I think it was easier to see the fakeness of TV than it is on social media. And so, like some of my favorite videos to watch on social media are like the behind the scenes of how they do things. And I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. Look at you, that's not real. Like,
it's not perfect.
Now, of course, with AI, everything's fake. But I think it's harder to tell nowadays, I think.
I think you're right.
When you see these people and they're like, driving a really nice sports car, and it's like they just borrowed it, like they just rented it, like
but
it's not theirs.
Maybe it's just the people that friend me and I friend on social media, but I find it's one extreme or the other. Either somebody that life is going great or somebody that everything's going wrong. And kind of the Eeyore syndrome going on there. I shouldn't say that. There are some people bad things happen to, and they're perfectly nice people. And they're grown-ups, and you feel like saying, I wish I could swoop in and help you. But I can't, because you've got to do this yourself. I can give you support, I can give you attagirls or attaboys, but I can't live your life for you and show you how to do it.
It's hard.
It is.
It's hard to sit. It's hard to sit back, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Of course, with adult children, is learning. I'm teaching myself. Okay, well. What do you need in this situation? And what does that look like? Like right now, we're supposed to be redoing my daughter's bathroom in 2 weeks. She still has not made a decision about the vanity or the toilets or anything. And I'm like, oh, and so I'm just kind of like, okay, so basically at this weekend, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not my it's not my bathroom. I have a working bathroom. I don't need to worry about this. And if they choose to continue to not live in a house with a working bathroom, then that's their choice. Like that's what they
No working bathroom at all?
They have two that are both of them are half working.
Are you kidding?
They have to use one bathroom to shower, a different bathroom, like it's just
oh my goodness.
And they've been there a year. Drives me crazy. I can't do it.
Oh wow.
But it's not mine.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, like, that's me. Like, and that's my answer to everything. It's just do it. Just do it. Who cares? Just make a decision. If it's wrong, fix it later. But that's my mentality on everything. And I think she wants to, think about everything. And I'm like, oh my God,
my daughter's like that too.
Stop thinking about this as the place you're going to get to be 80 in, and you're going to be living in here when you're 80. That's not going to happen. The chances of you living in this house for the rest of your life are slim and none. It just doesn't happen in today's day and age.
Right.
Just pick something. Move on.
Yeah. Make it work.
Exactly.
And deal with it. And then if you want to futz with it later, you can.
That's what I keep telling her. But so now I'm trying. I'm not doing a good job at this, but I'm trying to say, okay, it's not my problem, and not to stress about it. Like, it's not mine. If this is what she wants to do, then let her.
Yeah.
It's not
my
like
circus, not my monkeys.
Exactly. It's not like it's the only weekend I can help her with it. It just happens to be the week before school.
Yeah.
And we have time, and my husband's off.
Yes.
And it's and it made really good sense to tackle that large project during that time.
Right. And it's not like it's something that's going to take her weeks of ordering in advance or something like that. It's like you go down to Home Depot.
Yes.
Or you go down to Lowe's.
Yes.
And you get your stuff.
Yes.
And you bring it home.
Yes.
And you do the gig.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that they will make a decision this weekend, or at least they will talk to me about it. But it's about being okay with it. It's about stepping back and being like, okay, then
exactly.
The inaction is the decision, and it's not my worry.
Right.
And so when she gets to the point where she would like that assistance, then we'll help.
Right.
But oh my gosh, it's hard.
It is because you know how things should be, at least your version of what things should be, which may not be hers.
No, not.
And I run into that with my daughter. And the latest one is she's going to be moving into a place by herself.
Oh.
Well, she went double shifts on a second job to be able to do that and save up enough.
Okay.
She's really good about that. It's like she's saved up money for this to fix her car.
Okay.
And we're talking like a big expense. We're like
Yeah.
$10,000.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh wow. But she's almost there where she wants to be. In the meantime, she's got my car.
Right.
So, and at first she wanted to get out of my car as quickly as possible because, it's 2013 Kia Rio mom, but and she was getting and she had a Mini Cooper that she bought. It's a 2008 Mini Cooper. It's older than the car I'm lending her, but that's what she wanted. So she's, but she's managing to save up for all of this. It's just that where I'd be spending my money and where she's spending her money are like light years apart.
Light years apart.
Yep. Because I've been driving that car since 2013 before I got my new one. So there's that. And everybody's got their own priorities, I guess, when it comes to what they want out of life.
Yes. And I keep reminding myself of that. Mm-hmm. And I keep saying, but it's her house, it's her life, it's it's their decisions.
So how did they come to the point where they've got 2 unfinished bathrooms?
Oh well, that's just because they bought a house that was built in 1979.
Okay.
So they bought the house. It'll be a year in September, and
they discovered neither bathroom worked completely.
Yes, and then we have just been tackling. Well, actually, we did nothing. Since they moved in, because when they moved in, then my daughter went back to school, and so she just did not have time, the bandwidth to manage dealing with the house and being in school. And then she graduated in May, and then I was on summer. So I have been pushing probably a little too hard because, that's just me about getting these projects done. So I've been going every other weekend and we've been working on projects, and I think she's probably just sick of it. And I totally agree, because I know when we've done things at my house, I'm just like, oh my gosh, can we just put away all the tools? Can we just vacuum and not have dust everywhere? So I'm not, I don't blame her for being where she's at. But
you're not hanging wallpaper with her, are you?
No, but
that's like a torture device right there.
We've scraped ceilings and put up and skim coated and built closets and built dressers and desks, and we did an entire entertainment system in the living room.
Oh my gosh!
So we've done a lot of really big projects, but.
Again, resilience. You're showing her how to show up and get it done.
She's getting tired of it, but my thing is, my goal really was to get the bathroom done and then their closet done, and then take a break. But I think she wants to take the break a little early. I want to take the break.
Well, great. Your next break comes up in December, so
I know. Exactly. I told my husband. That's what I keep saying. I'm like, and it's not such a bad thing because it's so hot out. And to do things outside, because it's a small house, so I have to do all the cutting and all the stuff outside. And right now it's like a warm dish rag out there. And I've been doing a lot of the work in my house, so in my garage, and then bringing it into the house so it's not as hot. But that's a whole nother issue. But whatever. Anyway, it has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. But before we had problems with the heater, didn't we? Like last winter with the ice storm and all that. And now we're having problems with the AC?
I definitely did. Right now, actually, they're coming tomorrow to finish fixing it.
Oh, my gosh.
But it still works. It just didn't cool it down enough. And then they tried to fix it, and then they broke it. And then at least they owned up to it, but they're like, oh, it might have been us. It was you. You broke it.
Yeah.
So they're paying to fix it, which I'm fine with.
That's good.
Because of course, I told my husband, like, if they didn't break it, they would not be paying to fix it.
But there we go. I mean, a bad thing happening to a good person. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with something like that? You look at it very practically because you've developed resilience over the years.
I have. And I think I stripped that from my kids. We're going to work on that.
Well,
why do you think your daughter has it?
What, resilience?
Yeah.
She doesn't always. I mean, there are times that, right now, I have a former student who worked for a moving company, and he's great. He's a great kid. He's doing so well in school and all this because he transferred to a 4-year school, and he's great. And we've chatted back and forth, and I'm like, hey, who is the company you worked for? He's like, well, I don't work for them anymore, but if you're just talking 2 rooms, I can help move her. And I'm like, aren't you sweet? And so I'm like, okay, pick a day. When is he going to come? And it's got to be a weekend because he's a GA,
right?
And he's also doing ESPN, and I'm like, so let's pick a time. So she's hemming and like what your daughter's doing. Exactly the same thing. I'm like, hey, he needs to know. We need to nail down a time, because I will help you. I can't really carry much,
right?
But I will help you. I'm a whiz at packing.
Right.
That is my superpower. I can pack like nobody's business. I've done it 20 times.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. So there's that.
What it is about them. They just don't want to make a decision.
Yeah.
And I do see it a lot in advising. The students are like, oh, I don't, like they want to have like 15 different options. It's like, I'm not saying it's not a good idea to have parallel paths and to have some options with it.
Right.
Maybe we could narrow.
I just say I blue sky and I'm like, where do you see yourself when you've got that diploma in hand?
Yeah.
Where do you see, 3 years from having that diploma in hand, where do you see yourself? And go from there. And maybe that's the way I should talk to my daughter. It would make sense saying, okay, you pick. What do you want, and how? And then we can figure out how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get there and help them with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a work in progress.
We all are. We all are. I mean, that's the beauty, I think, of being able to make your own choices, and although sometimes you really don't have choices if you're put in a position where your car broke down.
Yes. No.
It's or if you're put in a position where your plumbing's not working, and like I said, bad things happening to good kids.
Yeah.
It's figuring out how you're going to go from this step to that step, even when you're put in stressful situations. And I think that is what develops resilience.
I think so. I have to learn to just listen and not offer opinions.
I'm like you, though. I mean, I'm always like, okay, let's do this.
Yes.
And both of my children will look at me and say, Mom, really? Back off.
Yes, that's what they tell me.
Slow your roll.
Yes, but I'm just that way, and I try hard. I try,
yes,
but I have to.
yes.
I do feel like I have to make a bigger attempt at it.
Yeah.
To be just a sounding board
rather
than the engineer of their life, because that's not my role anymore. That's their spot.
Okay, but when they're little, though, I'm trying to think, what did I do wrong and I think part of that was somebody else was raising my kids for a lot of their lives, because I was working at a radio station with odd hours. So somebody else was doing the parenting job, and if I had to do it again, I would rethink that. But yeah, I
don't know. I think that you're being hard on yourself on that one.
But I mean, there are so many parents that have to work a job in addition to everything else.
Yeah.
And we're doing a juggling act. I guess that we're still developing resilience over the years.
Yes.
I'm Dianna Kelly. She's Sheri Waltz. This is Go Tell Mom. Thank you again for joining us on this episode of Go Tell Mom. Again, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or even something you'd like us to tackle on future shows, comment below, and we'll be back next time and we can grapple together.